Welcome to Veteran State of Mind, guys. I'm your host, Geraint Jones. Thank you for coming. Thank you for being here. Thank you for bearing with me. I haven't been putting out many podcasts recently. There's a really good reason behind that. Because I've been getting drunk a lot. I'm in LA. I've been bouncing around. I've been in Vegas. I've been in Austin. I know you guys want me to live my life. So, yeah, sorry about that. We had a bit of call it technical difficulties. The technical bit being that I've just been not behind on work, but work comes first, podcast comes second. And while I've been in California, then other stuff has come first too. But we are still rolling. We have multiple guests coming on. We're starting to build up a nice little cachet of guests for you guys to get your teeth into over the next few weeks. Just want to thank you, keep listening for keeping on listening and for bringing your friends. The podcast is growing, despite my best efforts to sabotage it. So thank you for that. Appreciate you bringing your friends along. Every time you make a post, every time you leave a review, every time you tell your fucking cats and your dogs or your parents, I really appreciate it. I've been meeting some people in bars around here, so that actually, there we go. I can legitimize my going to bars now because I have been meeting, especially around Camp Pendleton, a lot of young Marines. If you guys are listening right now, it was a pleasure meeting you. Thanks for joining in. And I know you're going to enjoy today's guest because he is a legend from the United States Marine Corps. He's a legend to me. First found out about this guy in 2003 when I read the excellent book Generation Kill by Evan Wright. And this guy was he was one of those characters in the book that jumped out to me. I hadn't been on any combat deployments myself. And so, you look for your heroes, and he's one of mine. And he then went on to play himself in the HBO miniseries of the same name. HBO miniseries Generation Kill, one of the best depictions of soldiers, I think, especially modern soldiers, that I can attest to. If you haven't watched it, go check it out either before or after you listen to this podcast. The man I'm talking about, of course, is one of probably the most handsomest persons in the world. It was pretty daunting, actually, to sit across from him for a couple of hours. I did start to really kind of get angry at my own DNA as we went through. Looks like he's built from granite, carved by Apollo himself. But anyway, enough of that shit. It is the one, the only, the legendary Mr. Rudy Reyes.
Yeah, they go fast. Good times that come and go. Survive the highs and lows. Just take it step by step. I guess, I suppose. Good times that come and go. Survive the highs and lows. Just take it step by step. I guess, I suppose.
They made me the first honorary Mexican-American Swede.
Mexican-American
Swede. Ever since Generation Kill, ever since I was training and working with them there. And, they all serve in the Army there, and in the Marine Corps. Alex was a Swedish Marine, so he took our boot camp, infantry skills, and recon skills really serious. We were in training for like 6 weeks, and I was crushing these guys. I'd never been training actors before, so I thought, I only knew how to train Marines.
Yeah. Hang on, are we rolling now? Great, let's just keep rolling. Let's just
keep
rolling. No, just keep going. Just keep going with the story.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. So I was training them, and I was still quite fast of a runner, still very fit. So I pushed them to the brink every day, and we had a lot of studs, a lot of athletes. Kellen Lutz, a lot of tough guys, but on that 3-mile sprint, I was the rabbit, and my buddy Eric Cucker said, "So who's going to beat the rabbit?" In class. We have classroom, we have uniform inspections every freaking morning to include weapon systems. Full meal deal. And then classroom, and then we go out into the field, do prac app. This is what we did. And uniform inspections after PT at the crack of dawn in the field. Who's going to beat the rabbit? And, of course, Skarsgård's tall. But he didn't say anything. And some other studs like, I can beat this freaking musclehead. They don't know I'm a runner. So I crush a sub 18-minute 3-mile. And the first person behind me was Alex. Right. And I knew then he had grit, and I'm very happy for his success. Yeah, awesome, so ever since, he's doing everything now. Dang, he's in every dang great miniseries, and he's doing feature films, and has always maintained his humility. And that's how I met my director, Henry Alex Rubin, when I did Semper Fi. I met him through Alex years ago. I met met a lot of great people through his family because they keep it, like I was talking about Eric Thomas earlier, they keep their strength and connection to source and family aligned. And I believe that's the secret of their success, the Skarsgårds.
Yeah, I'm not going to argue with anything you just said.
You know, we've had to find it ourselves, huh?
Yeah,
when we were out of alignment, we struggled.
Yeah, we have. And we're going to come back into that. I want to just jump back to, because there's going to be, we got some young whippersnappers who listen to the podcast who, believe it or not, would not have been alive at the time of even the HBO shows. Some of these guys listening would not be. Well, yeah, they definitely weren't around for those, which is nuts because it does seem like 2 minutes ago.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. For us, it always seems like last year, doesn't it?
But just give someone a brief. Like Rudy Reyes in 30 seconds, the background, and then we'll go, because I want to talk, because your childhood was interesting to see, the least too. So just you were served with the Force Recon. I was first Recon Recon Company, and then battalion. And you were a grunt before that, right? Grunt before that, not for too long. I was fortunate enough. I was ahead of my class, both in boot camp and School of Infantry, and then went on to auxiliary duties on Camp Guard and got an opportunity to try out for Recon. And I freaking made it to then go to school. Remember, nothing's guaranteed. We had no recycle program either. Back then, I saw many good sergeants and corporals going through training in school, break their legs or get injured. And then there was no recycle program and no money. So, in not so many words, pack your purse, fuck you, hit the road, kid, back to the grunts. And we probably lost some good guys because of that. But I was blessed enough to not be injured so bad that I couldn't continue forward. At Amphibious Reconnaissance School in Virginia Beach and AP Hill. It doesn't even exist anymore. It was so freaking hard. I had no experience. It was just hard. And so you say you had experienced a hardship though, right? Because yes. Yes. I mean, I'll let you just tell it in your own words, bro. If you would just tell us about
I think that's a good
coming
point.
Of age of Rudy Reyes.
I think that's a really good point. My bank account of suffering definitely had a lot invested. First of all, I'm made in America. Only in America could a kid like me come up like this. But I came from a broken home and poverty. My biological father never cared to even see me. And he was a Marine, 2 tours, came from a wealthy family. Strung out on heroin, died when I was fighting in Afghanistan in 01. Never even met him. I went looking for him when I became successful, and I found he was dead. But I have a wonderful aunt and a wonderful sister that I'm very close to, the De La Yatas. But my father gave me his name, Rudy Reyes Sr., Marine Corps as well, Geraint as well, Vietnam as well, and then law enforcement. And he was probably going through so much as well, or he was going through all of the things that we would go through in our time with the depression, PTSD, alcoholism,
and you think
violence.
It was caused by Vietnam?
Oh, of course it had to have been. Only makes
sense.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, two and two makes it.
And now imagine, too, in our day, how much training and preparation we had. In the Vietnam days, I think my dad did 3 months of boot camp, advanced infantry skills. Boom, you're in theater. Yeah. That's it. Amazing. But I loved him so much, and he taught me some great values till I was 3 years old, and then my family broke apart. And I would later find him as an adult when I was doing martial arts, and God, I love him so much. He's passed. He's dead, too, and I think he's an angel that looks out for me. My mother, also from the border of Texas and Mexico, the poverty there then, you'll see even the psychological and emotional poverty there now. Mm-hmm. I think that's why the drug problem is so extreme there. It's right on the border, Reynosa and Matamoros. We're from the Rio Grande Valley, McAllen, Far, Edinburgh. My mother just knew old world Mexican ways. Take care of a man, make sure he's fed, make sure he's okay in the bedroom, make him first, and that's what you do to survive. Well, she was hooking up with the wrong guys, and she got strung out on drugs too. So myself and my 2 little brothers were sent to the winds here or there, wherever. I end up in the Omaha Home for Boys, grow up in the Omaha Home for Boys and learn work ethic, strength. I become a wrestler, learn to lift weights and be an athlete. and that everything, all privileges come from effort.
Right.
I couldn't have any privileges unless my grades were good and I was not fighting in school. And I did fight at first. I was incredibly depressed and angry. You can imagine having such a tough childhood, and then thrown in one combat zone into, and then another, and then another. There was so much physical abuse, there was sexual abuse. I was very, very sick. I got hepatitis from living in human excrement and garbage. I had hepatitis at 11 years old.
That was at the school? Or
in different flop houses that I found myself and my 2 little brothers in. I mean, we were living on mustard sandwiches with old stale bread. And then that's when I started drawing pictures and portraits for nickels, dimes, quarters, so I could buy us food at the convenience store. It was immense. When I got to the boys' home, of course, you got to fight first, right, to establish yourself. But with that aggression focused into sport, I got privileges, I got glory. I was undefeated as a wrestler in 8th grade. I got medicine. I got my teeth fixed. Got a haircut, pride, church clothes. And from what I learned there, I later, when I was out of the boys' home, emancipated my little brothers, Michael and Caesar. They were in the Omaha Home for Boys as well. And I brought us to Kansas City, and we worked bussing tables and washing dishes. And I had a little apartment in a really rough hood there because that's all I could afford. And I kept us in the YMCA in between work. And that's where we found our martial art teacher doing Shaolin Kung Fu. That led me into...
At the YMCA?
At the YMCA. And that led me...
I just want to explain for the British listeners listening. So it's kind of like... Would you say it's like an affordable gym and plus housing?
Yes, YMCA is the original, what's it called? Young Men's Christian Association. So it's a gym, community center. They have barracks as well, and the pay is on a sliding scale depending on your income. And it was a lifesaver. Our discipline was a lifesaver. Our martial arts, John Reeder and Shaolin Kung Fu, and then Chun Man Sit from Hong Kong, lifesavers, because they gave us a pointed direction and discipline. And it was really from the ethos of doing martial arts and then competing. And I was a competitor because I knew it was the truth, not because I enjoyed beating people up. I never did. I was just not, I guess maybe because of the cruelty of my own childhood. The idea of being cruel was just so hard for me to stomach. However, I knew that strength is the only way.
So this is interesting, boy, because we've both seen people who have suffered cruelty as a kid who then go on to inflict, to inflict it. Like a lot of people involved in child abuse or themselves abused as children, and then they go and put it on. What is it inside you, or what is it that somebody else instilled in you that you think made the difference between you you going the opposite way, and because you'd suffered cruelty, you didn't want to put it on anybody else?
I believe some of it was innate. I always loved animals since I was really small. I was always attracted to bunnies, and we had a goat in the backyard. And when he was a little billy goat, I'd play with him all the time. I was fascinated by nature, even very, very small. When I first learned to read at 5 years old, I read books about birds and nature. And having my little brothers were very close in age, only a year and a few months apart. Having these beautiful young beings that I'm raising and taking care of and playing with, it just gave me an emotional depth and a compassion early on. And then my father, Rudy Reyes Sr., would take me to see the Bruce Lee films, and he turned me on to comic books. I learned about Spider-Man, and with great power comes great responsibility. My dad taught me about my fortune is my brother's fortune, and that we share and share alike, and that greed is the ugliest thing a person can enact, and it's it is the antithesis of being brave is greed. So he gave me these ethics reinforced by comic books and adventure movies. Then I saw Rocky. I saw Rocky at 5. Then I saw Star Wars at 5. Good versus evil, and we must fight for the good. I think those initial imprints. And then when my life started getting really hard, I was around 7 years old. I think those 3 years, 2-3 years of great foundations, it just sunk so deeply in. And maybe and obviously a higher power was giving me the strength to stay the course. When I look back, when I was 10, 11, 12 years old, I had a mental breakdown. Of course, we didn't have, there was no therapist or anything. And if you're poor, there damn sure was no therapist. Nobody talked about anything back then anyway. It was 1984, 83, 82. There was a big boy tried to sexually abuse me in the boys' home. And I fought back. And then I went to the administration. And they just swept everything over. Nobody was talking about anything back then. It must have been a higher power, the grace of God, that gave me the strength to somehow, like we say in the Marine Corps, you might say it in the British Army too, you take a full 30-inch step. Like when you're marching, you take a full 30-inch step. I just continued to take a full 30-inch step in life through my childhood and then through my teens and then through my time as a young man and then in the Marine Corps, full 30-inch step. And that led me to Recon and I'm blessed. I was trained and outfitted by the best men in the world. I became a scout sniper, a combat diver, a para as well. Being in the mountains, doing mountain warfare and desert warfare, and being in the field doing amphibious work. It was my favorite part of the Marine Corps. Favorite part of Recon was the field. It was beauty.
You shouldn't be in Recon if you don't want to be in the field, right?
You're right. And so I found that everybody was the same like that. And you know what was so wild, Geraint? All my brothers, we came from sometimes extremely different backgrounds. But there was an ethics and a hunger and a competitiveness and a desire to push beyond limits that everyone had. And that became the best family that I'd ever experienced.
And this is the really interesting thing, isn't it? Because it's not like... Because if it was a case of just, say, conditioning that makes you want to become a soldier or a Marine, then everybody would be from the same background because that's what we'd have
pro football players, pro basketball players, MMA fighters. We'd have all those cats. How come they're not? It's more than that, brother.
Because someone would be dead right to say that a lot of the things in your childhood would have definitely kind of contributed to you wanting to be in it.
Yes, that family and that warrior caste that you were safe in.
Exactly. But do you think there's something innate in you that was regardless of where you'd have grown up or how you'd have grown up, that you'd have wanted to end up in something like Force Recon?
I think, well, brother, once I saw First Blood, why as kids, you remember as kids, we were attracted to combat.
Some kids. Because the thing I would say is
I was for some reason. I just knew that it was the standard.
Everyone plays soldiers, right?
I did.
Everyone does,
okay.
But then it's like at some point everybody else stops playing.
I
but
guess.
Then you want to carry. But you want to carry on.
I guess we never stopped.
Yeah,
brother.
and it's an interesting one because I kind of look at it again. I just kind of take I think it's a bit of a common sense approach to it. I think if you've got different kind of people are born with different skill sets so that overall as a species you have all these different people filling in different roles. It makes sense to me that a certain amount of the species is going to be born with a desire to soldier, be a warrior, whatever you want to call it.
Yes, well, you find in how many cultures? Every culture, every single culture, primitive and modern. There's an innate DNA component. There must be.
I think so.
I've witnessed it. There's some cats that were just way too smart and way too talented, but they possessed the gene. And they went. Yeah, am I right?
Yeah, because otherwise, why would you have? Because someone could make a logical argument, say, "Hey, this guy's from he's from a bad neighborhood in LA. He didn't have any other choice. He wasn't good enough to make it in sports, so he joined the Marines." You can see that, but then it's like, okay, well, then how do you account for the graduate who had great offers but chose to go and be a grunt?
For sure, exactly, and we've seen that time and time and again. It takes something special to want to go to the line. Beyond the phalanx. Because that's what we chose to do. The audience out there that doesn't know much about the armed forces, the kind of combat and the kind of operations that men like us do, and then some women too, are at the very front. And we witness and know, man, so many of us just die in training. 23 of my bros died my first year at the unit. In training. And we know that we are facing, and we can face dismemberment, burning alive. blown
Fate's
into
worse than
freaking
death.
Just rough stuff.
Yeah.
Still we go.
Yeah.
And we hold
willingly.
it. Yeah.
And you get pissed when you don't when you're not allowed to go.
Yes. Right? And it's never over.
Yeah.
There's something in us that, and some of us are genuinely good for this. There's not, I witnessed very few psychopaths. Now, over time, I witnessed a few become psychopaths.
Right.
I think it's too much. I think, as you can reflect too. I did 3 tours, and the last one in Fallujah and Ramadi was on the borderline. Yet, I was a great team leader, had a great team, amazing unit, working with triple air agencies and joint stuff. Yet it was the funnest, most glorious, most engaging warfighting I'd ever done. And I'd already done some great warfighting before. However, that brink, I could see it. And then after a while, even more importantly, I couldn't see it. Right. I was there. So when I came home, I was just so different. And that's the kind of thing we do now. It takes nothing away from the servicemen and women who are in the bases and doing all this other stuff. Because guess what? My first 2 weeks in Fallujah, our compound was hit with rockets and mortars, killed a surgeon that was going to be going home in 2 days, killed a bunch of brothers and sisters. Everyone, when they go overseas, they are fucking heroes to me. They are heroes to me. I love also now with what I'm doing with my ocean conservation and Force Blue. My team is international. You know, all of these warriors and commandos. I've got a British Royal Marine Commando. I've got a British SBS. I've got Australians, and I've got pararescue, Green Berets, SEALs, Recon Marines, CCT. We got everybody working together. And that's what's a little different now. Look how we're close now as brothers in arms, regardless of service, branch, or even nationality. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, let's see. I think when you develop a humanist kind of look to the world now, it's like, there's a tendency in the military, understandably, to make you feel like your unit is the biggest and the baddest, and your country is the biggest and the baddest.
And
it needs to be there.
It needs to be there at that point.
Yeah, because otherwise, like, I don't want to go to fucking war, think I'm going to lose.
Yes, you got to believe in yourself and your men, and believe in your mission.
But then as you grow past that, you start to realize, these pogues, they were important. We weren't getting food without pogues.
Bro, how about we were never concerned about where our ammunition was coming from, or when we had close air support, or when we were inserted. Did we ever think about who's pumping the gas?
Exactly. Someone pumped gas into that A-10. Someone loaded the ammunition.
Yes, and where the money came to get the gas.
Yeah.
The JPA ain't cheap, and then the jet fuel and helicopter fuel. I want to say it's like $2,000 or $3,000 a minute. Wham, and you've got stacked air out there. I got drones. Think of all of the power, and we were blessed that we got to be in the front and have some glory directly. But we had a nation of millions and trillions of dollars created by our countries over millennia and over centuries to be where we're at. And now there's no ego involved. And I salute any brother or sister who served our country.
I do too, but I still like to make jokes about them.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know what's funny? Sometimes the Marine Corps is so crazy. Oftentimes the pogues, because they're not in the field all the time, they are lifting all the time. They look freaking awesome.
They're big. I see them around.
They're just case, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we're all starving and shit, and we're living on freaking coffee, candies, and dip out there in the freaking hide site, doing observations. You know what I'm saying?
But dude, that's what was so funny for me. I tell you what started to freak me out recently. Now when I see pictures of Vietnam or even like in Iraq, and I see the pictures of the guys now, I'm like, oh my God, these guys are kids.
Yes, I know.
Like, unfortunately, I've hit the age now where I'm seeing them as kids.
Yes.
But it's like, people think, people have this idea of like, you got a fantastic physique, for anyone that's listening to this on audio, not video. And people think that's what soldiers look like in general, but it's not. It's 150-pound kids.
150. I was 170 pounds my whole career. because you're just running and swimming and in the field too much to gain too much weight. And yet, there's something to it, as we know back then too, to be as efficient as possible. It seems that all the physiques go to between 150, 170 pounds, maybe 180 if you're a bigger guy.
Yeah.
But it's middle-sized guys that have a great level of endurance and strength and the bone structure.
Yeah.
And we don't have doctors taking care of us out there and massage therapists. And all we got is each other and, of course, rage for the enemy and great standard operating procedures. And somehow we accomplish miracles. I mean, that we're alive is a miracle.
Yeah, I mean, dude, it is. And you were mentioning about, your dad with the 3 months of training and then getting thrown straight in. I always say to people, I'm like, look, you have to understand that the armies that fought in Iraq and Afghanistan, the most professional armies that have ever existed, like there's never been a more professional army.
Very much so.
As far as we know, in the universe.
Yeah.
Altberg Boots, specialist boot makers who have been in the business for over 40 years. I'm really happy to have my favourite boot makers on as part of the podcast because I have been using them for 13 years, and with good bloody reason, and that reason is that the boots look alley and they're awesome. I've had a desert pair that lasted me 3 tours in Iraq and Afghanistan, and I've got a leather pair of their Warriors, which are my hill walking pair. A friend of the podcast, Dean Stott, he used Altbergs during his Special Forces selection, which I would say is a pretty strong recommendation. Altberg make boots for men and women. They have different styles, so you guys can get the right weight and the right support for your ankles, the right colour. Really can't recommend them enough. They've got civilian and military styles, and you can check them all out by going to altberg.co.uk, altberg.co.uk. This podcast is brought to you by Camouflage. Camouflage spelled with a K. Camouflage is a veteran-owned surveillance and investigations company, a brand you can rely on for their professionalism, integrity, and quality of work at all levels. So what are the kind of things you'd use a surveillance and investigations company for? Well, maybe someone is regularly stealing from your business or fly tipping on your property. In this day and age of internet dating, there's always the danger of getting catfished. Camouflage can help with that. They can also help with unlawful partners, the fucking slags, so that you can have the evidence for divorce and they can dig in all kinds of things on the ground or online. But obviously they've chosen not to look at my search history or we wouldn't be friends. Camouflage are listeners and supporters of the podcast. So I really love it if you guys can support them back because we are a family here, a very weird, fucked up family. So how can you help them and support them if you don't require surveillance investigations? Head over to camouflage.co.uk because these guys are stockists of specialised surveillance, outdoor clothing and equipment and more from the likes of Lawmate, Yukon, TRC Outdoors and Lumine Designs. They also have a service for bespoke handmade ghillie suits, which is pretty alley, and vehicle tracking systems. Think of them as like Q and James Bond. You go to their website, get a tough brush that has a flamethrower in the handle, and maybe pick up a nice jacket. Right, so go check them out on Instagram at Camouflage Limited, camouflage spelled with a K, and at camouflage.co.uk. This podcast is also brought to you by none other than the Royal British Legion. What do you think about when you think about the Royal British Legion? Maybe you think about blazers. Maybe you think about a warm pint of bitter. Well, if that's your thing, awesome. But the Royal British Legion are so much more than that. They really are up to speed, up to the whatever century we're in now, 25th? I don't know. And if you're a veteran and you need help with finances, your mental health, your physical health, burying a body in the woods, whatever, contact the Royal British Legion. Tell them I sent you, especially with the body. Their contact details are in the episode summary and just, go to rbl.org. This podcast is made possible in part thanks to Zulu Alpha Strap Company. Bombers watch straps for alley blokes. It's a veteran-owned company, but you don't need to be a veteran to have a cool fucking watch strap to go with your timepiece. You might have spent a lot of money on it, on your watch that is, so protect it. And even if you've got a shit watch, get one of these and then you won't look like such a cheap fucker. You can see these watches on the wrists of front-line operators around the globe. Where can you do that? At Zulu Alpha Straps. Go over there, take a look at some kinky pictures, then maybe even order yourself a strap, you dirty bitch.
It's never happened. And just the fact that, because here's the thing, dude, I'm sure you might be the same. When I first joined in 2000, we didn't have tourniquets. Tourniquets didn't exist.
Sure.
Well, I mean, they existed, but we didn't have
them.
But
they weren't the field expedient ones.
Yeah, the ones the medic had was a piece of rubber with like a S hook on each end.
We used bungee cords.
Yeah.
I had extra bungee cords on the Vic. We had them in our freaking ass packs and our medic kit because we could also use bungee cords to tie down gear on the freaking vehicles. And, of course, wrap it the fuck around your arm or your freaking leg, right?
But it's crazy, though, isn't it?
I know.
But you know what? That kind of blows my mind, though, that in between, because in Vietnam, most of the casualties died because of blood loss.
Sure.
So that kind of freaks me out, that in that 30 years in between, nobody developed a cat tourniquet.
Sure.
But it's,
maybe not, you know what? Maybe psychologically, spiritually, the emotional and the soul of my country was so devastated after Vietnam. I watch history things a lot, and I read a lot, and I listen to Dan Carlin. Hardcore History. Isn't he wonderful?
Wow.
Wow.
Check him out. Dan Carlin, Hardcore History.
Oh, yes. I highly recommend it. I'm listening to Supernova of the East about Japan's rise from a feudal state to a world power in 70 freaking years. And I'm reading now about Germany's politics and policies. Germany. They're still talking about that, like the Germans are still talking about and blaming themselves for World War II.
Oh, yeah, they have it enshrined in law that they have this guilt is basically
I
locked
don't
into the
believe in
law.
that.
Well, they weren't.
I don't
most
believe
of them
in
weren't-
it.
Most
It's
of them
bullshit.
weren't alive. They weren't alive.
Yeah, and you know what? Every single freaking conquesting country has done some shit.
Yeah.
Do we want to talk about the U.S. and our complete genocide of the Native Americans? And of course, we had slaves like everybody else. Do we want to talk about the Mongolians or the Chinese? Do we want to talk even since Vietnam, Pol Pot and Cambodia? Do we want to talk about Congo and Nigeria? Do we want to talk about Rwanda? Do we want to talk about South Africa? Do we want to talk about anywhere in the Middle East? So it's not a race issue. It is a human issue. It's not a country issue. It's a human issue. But that self-effacement is one thing, to look at the truth. To flagellate, like beat yourself, that does nothing for anyone, and it occludes the window to truth. And it's very, very interesting. That's why probably we did not, as a U.S. military after Vietnam, really progress. Our special operations did.
Yeah.
They realized we needed to do something smaller, more tactical, surreptitious, quiet, and fund the living shit out of them.
Yeah.
But then sure enough, that only gets you so far. Special operations did not win, special operations did not win the big battles in Afghanistan, Pakistan, and Iraq. I did a lot of heavy shit. I prepped the battlefield. I did raids. I freaking did snatch and grabs, countless sniper missions, close air support, all that. But without the fucking grunts. Without the fucking grunts, there would be no Ramadi. There would be no Echo and Ramadi. There would be no fucking Scott Husing and his men.
Yeah.
There would not be a Battle of Fallujah, which we fucking wrecked house, without the grunts.
Yeah. That's the problem, dudes, because people see on the news, it's the high profile.
Sure.
A lot of these missions as well, these missions have come because of, there might be a piece of information that a guy at vehicle checkpoint picked up.
Totally, the
And
VC piece,
and
absolutely.
all these
Geraint.
little pieces, they come together, and then somebody goes in and does the high profile mission. But, and again, you can't set the terms in the battle space without those kind of boots on the ground. And that's always the
Absolutely.
problem when people are like, we have it in the British Army now. The British Army is always getting downsized. And then war happens, and all of a sudden they realize, oh, actually, it doesn't matter how many raids you do if you can't hold a fucking...
Absolutely. Do you remember playing Risk when we were little kids?
Fucking love a bit
I
of
love
Risk.
Risk now. We got to
Yeah.
get together and get a
Fuck
little
yeah.
drinks.
Let's go
Let's get
poking.
the fellas together. Let's get the fellas together and the freaking and the ladies
down.
too. And let's do
Ah,
it. And you remember
let's-
the purpose. Remember when you make your big push and attack to take over the continent, so you can get your reinforcements. If you don't leave at least three, I would recommend three behind, three armies. Then on the counterattack, if your enemies just wipe through you.
Yeah.
So you have to be methodical and move slowly, and you have to take ground and then hold ground.
Yeah. Well, yeah, the reserves is a huge part in life. Like, you can
Well
take
said.
that as
Well
you can
said.
take that. And that's what I wanted to come back to, is your point, dude, about the, your point about a country self-flagellation and guilt, that works just as well for human beings on an individual level.
It is.
Because you and I have both been through our self-flagellation phases.
Yes, we have.
For anybody listening that doesn't know, that doesn't mean masturbation or anything like that.
It's beating yourself up for things that happened or that you were. Actually, we probably beat ourselves up for a lot of things that were not our freaking fault.
Oh, 100%. I think that's the core. But and look, that's part of being a high achiever and a high performer is
Well
that
said.
you
Critical.
critical. But then there's a line where criticism becomes detrimental to you,
Yes,
to your work. But dude, let's just jump back in. Let's jump back in. Give these guys like a talk through some of your deployments.
Sure.
So your first one was out to Afghanistan.
Yes, and we were on the ship. My platoon, freaking second platoon with Captain Dill, now Colonel, just retired, Marsoc, all these guys. My team leader, AJ Hull, Korean and black, football player from, I want to say Arkansas or Oklahoma, Arkansas, I believe. Super high achiever, looked like Roland Gift from Fine Young Cannibals, except a stud. And anybody older out there will know what I'm talking about. And listen to country music, Ranger, Scout Sniper, drill instructor before he came to Recon.
Right.
I was in charge of this freaking senior 7-8 year dude.
Nice.
And then, of course, he became, once he made it through Recon school, then boom. We had this rad platoon. It was a platoon of us, platoon of SEALs. We were on the ship when the towers were hit. And the freaking sirens were going. We got freaking secured to the berthing, got freaking our top secret orders. Shit got real quick. 0 to 100 real quick. We went, drew all of our pyro and bang explosives, got our fills for our radios, and we did the furthest ship to shore insertion all the way to Jacobabad, Pakistan, to first do counter sniper ops. You see this old photograph with my tricolor deserts and a freaking Barrett 50 cal and and a clue and these optic systems and brother, those first photographs I'll show you from Afghanistan and Pakistan, we didn't have body armor, war helmets.
Yeah.
We were recon men
Yeah.
because we had such massive packs and we traveled to mountains. I'd never driven a Humvee before till Afghanistan, and I'm now driving it with optics, with night vision, and almost drove us off a cliff countless times. It's Indian country. Everybody's out there to kill you. We finally get to this mountain range. We dig it in, camouflage it, and then patrol up the mountain. And 3 or 4 of us were scout snipers out of this team of 5. And we did observations and sniper assets and then directed fires. It was just immense. And these 4 teams, a great freaking man. And this is kind of what set into play the domino effect that would later become MARSOC. Because from my team, platoon, we were the hottest kids in the Marine Corps. Now we come back after a year and a half later. And the grunts that were with us then that took Kandahar, we took all those grunts and they became Recon Marines. Some of them are Green Berets, some of them are Delta guys now, legends. And Iraq came on the horizon long before America knew about Iraq. We knew, so we were already training in Pendleton with full gas mask, mop suits. Full mop gear, patrolling and then doing shooting packages, and then we went to Spain, rode to Spain, and then into Kuwait and trained and did probing missions for 3 months before the breach and the invasion. We led the invasion by happenstance. We were supposed to take this bridge, and remember, this is a time of nuclear, biological, chemical warfare. So every time artillery or mortars came in, we had to mop up. We're fighting in charcoal suits for 3 freaking weeks. Heat and then dysentery and then filth and the burning of steel, plastic, people, and then having to get water from the Euphrates. We were so far ahead of any units. We had to be sustained. We sustained ourselves. The grunts were held up in Nasiriyah. My commander just had his birthday, Colonel Ferrando. He said, "Hey, my recon men will take charge." And General Mattis, I saw this go down on the bridge after some Hellfire missiles burned in, killed some enemy, and killed Marines. This is fucking combat, man. And it looked like Vietnam because this rain was coming in. Palm trees were everywhere on the river, on the bridge. I saw some Marines there, and then I saw them gone. And then we're running and doing fire maneuvers. Some of the bad guys are trying to flank us. We're engaged, fighting. Then I see General Mattis walk up there to look at what's going on. And my commander goes up there, and the other commander, and boom, the other commander's relieved. Now we get the hook we're in the middle of combat. And on the hook, it's time to fucking mount up and take this bridge. I'm seeing Amtraks blown up. I'm seeing blood. I'm seeing pieces of soldiers and Marines. Jessica Lynch's convoy was hit. They one detachment of recon men went on that op to go rescue her. We chopped our way up the middle. It became famous. We chopped our way to Baghdad. Chris Kyle was in one corner of that freaking building. I was on the other. We were freaking rocking and rolling in Baghdad. I went all the way up to Tikrit, I think. All the way to Tikrit, and then right by the Syrian border, chopped our way back. It became famous because for a few weeks we had a reporter that was writing notes. Now, the combat was so freaking heavy, he really didn't write much. He was just trying to survive. But afterwards, in between me going back to Fallujah and Ramadi, he got a lot of notes from myself, Eric Cucker.
Is Evan Wright? Is it?
Yes, Evan Wright, Jeff Carrizales, Nathan Fick, Gunny Wynn. And from these articles he did in Rolling Stone, The Killer Elite, which he got the name from me. The Killer Elite is a film made by, Robert Duvall, James Caan.
Charles Bronson was going to be my guess.
Yeah,
it sounds like a Charles Bronson movie.
Yeah, it is. Was he in that one too? He might have been. It was rad. Anyway, I talked to him about Killer Elite, and it became a thing. Then he turned it into Generation Kill. It became a television series picked up by HBO, and they called me after I was rocking and rolling, doing the heaviest shit, hunter-killer missions, setting up in the cover of darkness bridges with explosives, snatch and grab missions. Recon did freaking jump inserts, amphib inserts, helo work. The op tempo was immense, rocking and rolling out of Shark Base. It was historic and epic. When I got out of there, I was not the same anymore. I re-enlisted once, but I chose not to re-enlist again because I thought I should try to be a good husband to my wife. I was never there. I was not prepared to do anything. I was not well then. But then HBO called, and in a sense, it was a stay of execution. I could go back to war,
right?
Which was safer for me than dealing with my problems.
So you just got out of the Marines and went straight to HBO.
2 years later.
2 years later.
Right? 3 years later, and I was coaching
in the middle.
No, I ended up contracting afterwards. I was coaching boxing and doing some mixed martial art and training jiu-jitsu and kickboxing, and then I started drinking and street fighting, and I was a fucking wreck. But I looked great on the outside, but I was not. And then when HBO called, in a sense, I got better. Right. Because now I'm doing warfare again. I'm teaching and training.
You had a purpose?
I have a purpose. I'm needed. But I had not truly, I hadn't even begun the healing process myself. After HBO, I did Apocalypse Man, and I did some other
TV. Let's go back to the HBO thing, because this is really interesting. There's not many people that play themselves on a TV show.
That wild?
Especially on when that show is about. Because some people might do it on like a comedian might play themselves or something like that. But you don't have many warfighters play themselves.
No, I think Audie Murphy probably was the only one, wasn't he?
Yeah.
The American soldier, highest decorated soldier of all time. It is interesting, but you know what? At first, acting was really hard if you'd never done it before. Remember, it's a skill like anything else. Just like CQB, just like rock climbing and mountaineering, and just like swimming, it's a skill. I knew nothing about what I was going to do. Oh, by the way, I'm going to go have some drinks today with Jonah Lotan, who played my medic, Timmy Bryan. He was a para in Golani Heights, and Mark Manchaca, who played Gunny Wynn. He's on this amazing show right now called The Outsider. We're all getting together. All the Generation Kill bros, the Gen Killers, we all hang every chance we can to this day.
That's awesome.
To this day, because of the love, the camaraderie, and the actors there took it so serious to portray real men, real people. And it was beautiful. It also showed me that there is so much power out there in media with affecting public opinion and also to teach. And that's why I stayed in it. I thought, with this opportunity, no kid from the Omaha Home for Boys has ever had this opportunity. No child from the border of Texas and Mexico has ever had this opportunity. No Recon Marine has ever had this opportunity. No Chinese Kung Fu freaking Jingwo champion has had this opportunity. I'm the first. I'm not going to let it go. There must be a karmic and Buddha and God reason that I'm here. So that's why I stayed in it, but I was still not really prepared. I turned down a lot more money at Discovery Channel to do a little show at History Channel because I was not aware of the business. Discovery Channel offered me money to do nothing until they built the whole show.
Right.
I didn't know. I came from an ethic in a world in which you take nothing until you've earned it. Little did I know I had earned it because I didn't know, and then I was drinking, and then I got into hard drugs, mostly through being in L.A. and then in New York.
This place will do it to you, bro.
Yes, because I didn't have any real loved ones here, support structure.
I know. I say speaking from my own LA drug experiences, a lot of it is about that pursuit of high again.
I believe you're right.
After combat.
And especially when we're depressed,
Yeah.
like when we are not connecting to anything. Yeah. And you know what? People out there don't understand. When we're getting tore up, we're not getting high. We're getting normal.
Yeah. No,
we're just getting normal.
It's fucking true.
And they don't get it. And what do we end up doing, Geraint? Hanging with each other in a hotel room or an apartment. We're not out in town partying, chatting up the chicks and freaking at the clubs. We're together. Processing, and maybe there's something to that. We got to go through that for a while. Now I would say we can help guide our young brothers and sisters
to the hotel room.
So, well, at least they're not. At least they don't go to the levels of self-destruction that we.
Well,
do.
that's the difference, dudes. Because that's like, I think there's something to be said for sometimes those hotel rooms.
I know. I know. There's been some healing.
Yeah.
Or there's been at least some illumination.
But there has been. But then when there's not, is yourself in a hotel room
alone
for 3 days.
And then the pistol comes out.
Yeah.
And then the pistol's in the mouth.
Well, I've said this all the time, dude, that I think one of the reasons that I'm glad that we don't have access to the guns in the UK that you do in America is because I think the veteran suicide would be. I know I would have.
I understand.
100%.
And you know I had to get rid of my guns after I had a pistol in my mouth after I lost my son. So hopeless. And I felt a force just saying my work is not done. And then the next morning, I got rid of my weapons, my M4s and my pistol. And I just knew it was too tempting when I'm down. And I knew that I was not out of the forest yet, that dark forest, that black fucking forest. I was still in it. I could see the meadows and I could see the light. And I was patrolling, searching for that freaking light. But I was still in it. And I knew that in some harsh fall downs, that it would be there for me, and I would probably take the opportunity, because it hurts so bad to be depressed, and it hurts so bad to feel like a failure. It hurts so bad to know that you had done extraordinary things in your life, and now you can't even hold a job.
I think that is it's that fall, isn't it, rather than necessarily where you are exactly.
Yeah.
But it's like the thing of you are at 18 years old, the hero, the somebody that everybody in the country looks up to. People thank you for your service. They want to shake your hand. They want to buy you drinks.
Yeah.
And you build a very high opinion of yourself, not necessarily from ego, but, from...
Maybe survival, bro.
Yeah,
Maybe survival.
Yeah.
Maybe that's all you got to hold on to. Sometimes that is all we had to hold on to.
It is. And I one of the ways I've tried reframing this to people now, I was talking to a guy the other day, he's an infantry guy, and he was talking about the pain and stuff, and I said, dude, the thing is about the infantry is you joined up, really, when you join the infantry, you join with the idea that at some point you're going to sacrifice yourself.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, we know we're facing death, and more than likely we're not getting out of this thing alive.
Yeah, so I said to him, I was like, the way you need to look at this now is, okay, you might be in pain,
But you sucking up that pain is the sacrifice you need to make, because otherwise you inflict that pain
Isn't
on
that
other
the
people.
truth? Our loved ones, especially the
Yeah.
people who care about us the most. And I did that. And one day, I look in the mirror, I didn't recognize myself. And I had a mental breakdown. And I just drank and did tons of freaking blow for about 2 weeks. Didn't eat, didn't sleep, and just cried. My little brother Caesar helped me through. My little brother Caesar had been through prison, and he was one of the only people who knew what this felt like. And he helped me through it. And shortly after that, I started to exercise again. And then, this is after I was in the Veterans Village of San Diego. I was in a freaking mental institution treatment center. And by the way, I was never a drug addict. I was just a chronic Rudy Reyes abuser, and I would abuse myself with fighting, with alcohol, with drugs, with poor relationships, with women. I abused myself because I was so hurt. I felt so small. Nietzsche said this, brother. In times of peace, a man of war will turn upon himself. And how many times have we seen that?
That's fucking great.
Isn't it the truth? And he said that after World War I.
Because here's the thing, bro. Like, you've seen it when you've got your squad. When there's no war, your squad will fight other squads.
Yep.
Your platoon will fight other platoons.
You know it.
Your company will fight other companies. Your battalion will fight other battalions.
Yep.
Because you have to have that. And I suppose when you don't have that, when you come out, and then the only person left. Because here's the other thing as well. In a way, we both were in a position where you gotta, like, someone's fucking getting it. So it's almost better. It's almost a sacrifice in a way that you take it out on you rather than someone else.
You know what? That's a great point. I did that for a long time. And still, there was this, I don't know if they call it the superego. I don't know what it's just like this higher power of survival instinct. Still, I made appearances. I was still training. And then I started contracting, which got me back into my old world. Totally clean, no drugs, alcohol. I started smoking, believe it or not, because I did a survival.
Smoking weed or smoking?
No, I can't handle marijuana at all, because it doles me. I think this whole fucking L.A. and California and all these other fools that are fucking high from the moment they wake up till the evening. Yeah. They're dull. You cannot operate and connect when you're dulling yourself. I was with Sadhguru and Mike Tyson just recently. And Sadhguru says, the only way forward is within. And have you read the human driving manual? Do you know how to, if you've never driven a car, I would be wise for you to read the driving manual and get some training. Yeah. Why do we not do that with ourselves? I would smoke cigarettes because I was doing a survival show in Alaska, Ultimate Survival Alaska. And I got down to about 2% body fat. Went to hypothermia. Yes, because it sounds like I got a lot of body fat now.
I was going to say, you're not exactly rocking much body fat.
And so now I'm eating one squirrel every couple days. I'm hiking through the freaking wilderness and the glaciers at extreme as hell. And somebody gave me a freaking, I think, dip first. And I took some tobacco. I was like, wow, I was fucking dead, bro. I was on my ass. I was fucking dying after 3 or 4 days. No chow. It hurt. And one little dip, I was like, wow, this is fantastic. And then I tried a cigarette. Hey! Yeah. So I started smoking cigarettes and still running like a banshee. I was leading the Kenyans in runs while I was doing counterterror in Kenya. And PTing and mixed martial art for the whole. I ran that whole program every day. But again, like we talked about before, I was taking still pain out on myself. After Caesar helped me through, and you know what? I had a beautiful little brother that I had the greatest relationship, the youngest, Michael. I turned into this fucking monster, and he didn't recognize me anymore. I'm working on rebuilding our relationship now. I was on the streets after the Veterans Village of San Diego, after Caesar got me through Kansas City, and I end up in New York City walking the streets, and I bump into Jim Ritteroff, my co-founder of Force Blue, and he worked with me on a television program before, and he said, Rudy, he didn't say anything, but he could tell I was a shadow of who I used to be. I was very thin, I was hollow, and he asked me to come to Cayman Islands to go diving with him. Shit, I didn't have a job or money, I had nothing. He flew me out there. third co-founder, Keith Somm, legend fucking Coast Guard rescue swimmer. He gave me a place. They got me in that ocean again. First time I'd been I was always combat diving, which is very hardcore, stressful, and at night. Now I'm seeing all the fish. I'm seeing all these beautiful things, and I'm like, God, this is gorgeous. At the bar, after a few days, and I'm working out, and I'm feeling so strong. Jim says, well, all this is going away. The reefs are dying. It just snapped something in me. I thought about all my men that are dying, killing themselves, all the men that died fighting, all my brothers that are fucking not with me now. I thought about all the people caught in the middle, all the civilians gone. I'm like, I'm not going to let this community die. I got to do something about this. And Jim was like, that's a freaking great idea. My first idea is, all right, these ships are tearing up the freaking, they're making harbors and for these cruise liners, and their anchors are dredging up these the most amazing freaking flora and fauna of the ocean, which is responsible for every third breath you take. Every third breath you take is from the coral reefs. I said, well, I can get some of my commandos together and we can get some mines and we can blow up these ships. They're like, whoa, pump the brakes, dog. We can think about something else. And then Jim says, well, there's other things we can do. And Keith Somm, who had been working on conservation for some time there in Cayman, they started putting their heads together, and we all three came together, and that's how Force Blue was born. And that's really when my life turned around. I went back into service. My 4 pillars, table legs, that's why this table's strong. Physical fitness, which gives you mental balance. Number 2, Mother Nature, being engaged in nature. Number 3, community and brotherhood. And 4, a mission you believe in. And that was 4 years ago. We were just at the Super Bowl. We're just partnered with the NFL. We are the NFL's veteran nonprofit. The governor came out to see us, spoke about us for freaking 20 minutes. We have 2 teams. We're working on Team 3. We're doing ocean conservation, rebuilding coral reefs, and saving, protecting, and giving triage to turtles. There's a whole host of missions ahead. And we're saving the freaking world, and we're saving our freaking veterans, 1 coral reef at a time, brother. Mm-hmm. And that's what I'm doing with Force Blue. And it really had to do with getting back to the same things that made us love being in the Army or the Marine Corps and the service.
Isn't that crazy, though, that it's like the answer's so simple?
It is simple.
When you find that it is
simple. It doesn't mean easy. Nope. You have to start healing and getting serious with yourself. Yeah. But it is possible. And look, we're examples to that for our community. People look at us, you're a freaking world famous writer now. I mean, you missed the exit. Hey, everybody, you missed the exit to come get me, because he's also writing lyrics for music.
I wasn't doing it when I was driving, honestly.
on top of books, and you ghostwrite for a whole slew of people. Brother, I'm just so proud. So proud that you got to meet Scott Husing, Major Scott Husing, because he loves your stuff too. It's rad how this veteran community, now art community, entrepreneur community, we're all supporting each other. Yeah,
that's the thing, dude. But I just wanted to drill down on that point. But I keep telling people all the time, it's the things that we enjoy, the reasons that we joined the military in the first place. Like I was saying, I think those are things that we are intrinsically drawn to. So when we leave the military, doesn't mean that our DNA has stopped wanting those things. We still need it. We still need the team. We still need the outdoors. We still need a mission. And look, a lot of people leave the military 23, 24, 25 years old. It's like denying yourself oxygen for the rest of your life.
Yes. I now seek out and are part of communities that sustain me in that way. The Sorinex community, the Family and Strength, Brandon Lilly, Bert Soren, Woodsky, and Ingrid, and of course Brady Tatonka, my sniper brother. We do everything and anything we can to get together as many times as possible, and it's wrapped around the barbell or hunting or hiking, and then food and family. And look how we're all rising. It's awesome, fantastic.
Yeah, dude, I think exactly the same way. And one of the reasons I do like doing the podcast is because, and I do it in person like this, is because it's a totally different thing to doing it over the phone. We're disconnected enough from, people.
I appreciate the effort, brother.
And culture. And, I came over the other side of the world just for you, baby.
Thanks, baby.
But yeah, we're disconnected enough from people anyway. But you know what's funny? I mean, I really appreciate people doing this, but like while I've been in the States in the last few weeks, I haven't had my phone out of my pocket that much because I've been connecting with people,
You're so engaged.
Which is great. But then I get messages from people back home like, are you okay?
Yes.
Because I love them for it, because they know in the past it wasn't because I was sitting down having conversations with people, it's because I was in that hotel room.
Yes.
For 3 or 4 days.
You know what? Some people have reached out recently. I've been going through a little bit of a hard time, and I got through it. But now I've got a woman in my life, Jade, and she helped me through. I got sick and really, really down. Because I'm still so connected to my physical activity and athletics, because that's how I make a living still, and I was feeling down. And then we all had a great birthday for her with you, and my Marine Corps brother's name? Ryan. Yeah. And then Ian Asbury, my spirit brother, who's helped me through a lot too. He's a musician and works for human rights and studied with the Dalai Lama, just the best. And I think we were there for 3 or 4 hours, weren't we, bro? Yeah. We shut that place down.
We did.
And we had so much fun. Everybody was gone, yeah. But that's it, isn't it? It's family, it's community, and speaking on things of the heart. And that's healing.
No, and it's great, bro. But it's again, going back to what you said earlier, you know, when you first joined or even when you were growing up, talking just wasn't a thing. It just wasn't done.
It wasn't. You didn't share your emotions.
It was a fate worse than death.
Yes, to show your emotions.
Yeah, like that was, and that's why, unfortunately, for some people, it has become death, has become what they choose otherwise.
Yes.
And I never blame anybody for it because I can see why
I understand.
it happens, you know.
I understand why. Our buddy, Nate Boyer says, you know, our brothers and sisters succumb to suicide. Meaning suicide's a disease, and there's symptoms that are happening, and then it gets infected, and then that's when it happens. We have to, as a community, come together and recognize the symptoms first and intervene because it's absolutely treatable.
It is 100%. You know what's crazy, dude, as well, is that, like, you know, when I read back on the book, and I'm sure you do when you reflect back on those memories, when I read back on the book now, I almost feel like, because I had to re-edit it recently because I did US version plug. You can find it now on Amazon.
Oh, I see.
When I look back on it, dude, I was like, I didn't feel like this, did I? But I obviously did because I wrote it at the time. But I'm like, no, I didn't feel like this. So I drove up to Malibu on Wednesday with a couple of friends of mine. You know, and I used to stay in Malibu a lot.
Sure.
And beautiful. One of the things I wrote about in the book was that, like, when I'd be driving down PCH and I had the soft top car, and I'd be thinking, oh, if I just rolled this car now, everyone would just think it was an accident. And I could just take that easy route out. Bro, what do you do?
I used to also, because I always would do a lot of swimming out in the big ocean.
You could just keep swimming.
And I would just keep swimming and then eventually go down. And people would just think, oh, he's, you know what I mean? I was there too, bro.
Yeah, I was thinking that, and I drove it the other day, and I thought, God, did I really used to think that?
Yeah.
Because I like driving there the other day. I was like,
this is amazing.
What a beautiful day.
Yeah, and then I look back because I thought, I see some of my posts like in Facebook, and then I have conversations with people I don't even remember because I was so messed up. And I was there. It was, I think there's like months and years that I don't really remember.
Well, dude, that was the other weird thing is because we were like, so I went to this, you know, I didn't go in the apartment. I didn't think the owners would like that.
Gotcha.
And there's a lot of guns in America, so I stayed out the apartment. Yeah. But I went there and I thought, God, I really actually don't remember that much of that couple of year period. And I think it's because it was so painful in a way.
Yeah, sure.
My kind of mind's blocked it out.
Sure.
But then I just thought, one of the things I always say to people, because when they're like, though, I know it's not going to, they feel like it's not going to get better. I'm like, dude, it's like, you just have to trust me.
Yes.
You just have to trust me. It's like, do you trust me? It's like, because I don't think you would have asked for my opinion if you didn't trust me.
That's right.
So if you do trust me when I say, like, you are not going to believe how different it's going to be. We're not talking about incremental changes.
Yeah.
It's going to be like you've been given basically a whole new brain.
Yes.
Once you've come out. And the changes can be quick.
They can.
Like once it happens, dude, like,
yes.
I think usually people slide into depression and stuff quite slowly, but you can come out fucking rapidly.
Yes, you can with a couple of tools and community. We always speak on it. Physical fitness is mental fitness.
Yeah.
It creates positive chemicals in the brain that defeat malaise and depression, and then all of us have injuries and hurts from service. But when you're being physically fit and you're breathing hard, red blood cells are going to tissues. Pain's better, sleep's better. Yep. Therefore, when sleep is better, decision making and being a critical thinker is better. Everything gets better with a few tools. And probably another thing that's really good to mention is when a brother or sister can cross the threshold to recognize that the most warrior and badass shit they can do is ask for help if they're hurting, even just to a brother or sister. when they realize that that is a badge of courage,
Yeah.
and then they see that as soon as even in the act of asking for help or saying, I need a hand, I need to talk to somebody, automatically things start opening up in the chest. And then you start talking and it starts coming off of you. But, we internalize so much because we were used to sucking up so much pain. We've got to change that narrative.
Yeah. Bro, I was just thinking about something you're saying about the physical activity then. So you think about, let's think someone say he served 5 years.
Yes.
They've done PT every day, maybe twice.
Yeah.
They've done some hardcore physical things.
Yes.
Their bodies, they get used to being pushed past the pain threshold.
Yes.
They also get used to the release of endorphins from exercise.
Totally.
Even if, right, like let's say they just left the military, they had no PTSD, anything like that.
Yes.
Just that drop from having that physical
totally.
high,
The
that is
physiological
that will
change.
fuck you up.
Of course, bro. It would be, of course, brother. It'd be like you always having your freaking coffee, 3 coffees a day and a dip, and then for 10 years or 5 years, and now nothing. You'd be like, whoa.
Yeah.
And then think about our self-esteem. As soon as we start gaining weight
Yeah.
or getting skinny, we're like, fuck, I used to be somebody badass, and now I'm drinking a lot at night because I can't sleep, and I'm getting a stomach. Fuck.
I do. I tell you what, I drank a few fucking big ass margaritas on Wednesday.
Okay.
And with all that sugar, I couldn't sleep.
I hear you.
And I'd fucking trained twice that day,
Yeah,
and I
it was the
couldn't
sugar.
and I
I'm
couldn't
with
sleep
you,
because the
bro.
sugar and stuff. Like drinking to go to sleep is a fucking terrible idea.
It is. It doesn't last very long. It'll work at first, and then it's a
Yeah.
downward spiral. It's a downward spiral for sleep, and then it wrecks everything else you do during the day. Other coping mechanisms, and really how to get back to a warrior way of life: discipline, physical discipline, mental discipline, mindfulness about how we engage with people. Also, some of us, especially of us freaking war fighters, we got hot heads. We don't mean to. It's just who we are now, and probably always will be. Or not even we may not be super hot-headed, but if we have to cross the line, somebody's gonna fucking die. So now I notice I keep myself out of bars. I only go to restaurants. Anytime there's alcohol, good-looking women, and some dudes around, there's going to be a problem because of the way regular folks' behavior. To some of us, if I feel affronted, my honor, and I'm in a bar and some guy's chick is checking me out, and then he bows up to me, and I'm drinking and I'm drunk, and I feel threatened, even psychologically or in some kind of honor way. It might as well be like he's pulling a knife or a gun on me.
Yeah.
And I will attack him and I will fuck him up bad.
Yeah.
And that's what used to happen. Now I just keep myself out of those situations. Now I recognize I'm not going to change. I'm not going to change in that environment. I can change in a less stressful environment. I can have reflection, and I can step back and keep some discernment in a less stressful environment. These little skills that come from also community. So I don't know if you felt like this too, bro, but some of my brothers were part of the problem.
Oh yeah.
We go out and wreck
we
house.
were part of the problem.
Yeah, I was part of the problem. Exactly, well said.
Yeah, we were. Dude, I've done it all the time. Like, so tonight I'm gonna go shout out Big Helens in San Clemente. There's always a bunch of Marines in there.
Sure.
It's just by Camp San Mateo. There's been in the past, a few years ago, where I would go in there and let's say I was pretty lit, and there's some like Okinawa warriors in there, who are 20-year-old guys, never deployed, and then they'd start like fucking puffing their chest out. Because I was a warrior who'd been at war, I'd be like, I gotta put this motherfucker in his place.
That's right.
Now I go in there and I go, whoa, you've been in Okinawa? That's awesome, bro. Thanks for your service.
Yes.
And I have a little laugh on the inside.
Good.
And then I go, hey, can I buy you a shot?
Can I get you a shot? Hey, bro, how's
and
it
I'm
going?
like, oh,
I respect you immensely.
Yeah, but like, and you know what, like, it's kind of nice doing that now, because now I
great.
recognize that I was that 20-year-old
I
fucking
was
dickhead.
too. I imagine I was hard to deal with too.
Yeah, but what I will do though is that like Alfredo's, which is like the
You know, it's like the burrito place at the end of the
Okay.
night. I won't go there. I'll DoorDash or something instead.
Yeah, right, because
that's where
something's
the
gonna
guys,
pop off.
the guys who haven't found a chick, that's where they are.
Totally. It's 3 a.m.
pissed.
Everybody's
Yeah.
pissed.
And they'll be like, "What unit were you with, bro? Oh, you fucking
and
civilian."
then if they even look at you sideways, you might pop off. Hey, who the fuck are you?
Yeah.
And then it's on.
Yeah, and there's that part of my ego that wants to go, "Who am I? Fucking how many toes
Yes,
you
right,
do, you little fuck?"
motherfucker. Yeah, I
But
know.
like, so I just avoid it. I just don't. I just
Bro,
don't,
I
don't
hear
go.
you,
But I
and-
still, I'll go to the bars and stuff. But yeah, dude, my fucking, you know, my speed is a lot more. Like,
Yes.
so I go to, like, I'm fucking fortunate. I've got a lot of friends who are very, you know, successful in music, and I'll go to
Yes.
their shows, and I like having the fact they have a backstage pass and stuff. And it's not so much because you don't want to be in the crowd, because I will go in the crowd. It's knowing that there's the escape valve. Of getting
Absolutely.
away from the mayhem. If you want,
Absolutely.
if someone keeps pushing, because
Yes.
sometimes it'll be you're dancing like you've got a friend with you. It might just be a friend, not even a girlfriend, just a friend, and some guy will keep nudging you in the back.
See, I can't handle
And
that.
that's when I got to bail. I
I
go
know.
right. Time to go to the green room. Time to
Totally.
go
I
20
can't
minutes
handle
chill out.
those things still, brother. I'm still so sensitive and raw. I can't handle any physical confrontation. I don't like people. We love to hug each other.
I love a
you
good
can't.
hug.
We're always like this. But if there's a tad of disrespect or violence, bro, I can't handle it. There's still a piece of me that's that recon team leader that I will not be dominated in any capacity, and I know it's not logical. So that oftentimes I have my bro Paul Wayman's my security, and now I hang out with these successful people when there's public events, and I make sure I'm protected away, because that's the only way I can enjoy being around a bunch of people, especially if it's a lot of young men that are drinking and there's young women. You know how stupid people act.
And it's not saying because what we're recognizing the fact that we were that person.
Yes,
And
yes.
and therefore that's why we can predict the behavior, because
I'm
that's
taking
how
care
we
of them.
behave.
I'm taking care of me
Yeah.
by staying out of it.
Yeah, and I think that's cool, dude. I think as well though, a lot of it has it's. If you are in a really good place in your life, you know when you're having one of those stretches of a couple of weeks where everything is going well, you're getting job offers
Totally.
coming in.
I'm going
you're
through that right now, brother.
Like you get and we hit these runs of form where we get those. Dude, someone could come up to me in a bar and spit in my face and I'll laugh.
Yes.
But then if I'm having a bad couple of weeks,
Someone's going to the hospital.
yeah, it could just be that, and it's knowing that as well.
I agree.
Like-
Knowing our limitations are more important than knowing our capabilities.
That's
It really is. It's much more important. Yeah, brother. Yeah, I'm with you, brother. I mean, it's spiraling higher with all
we're
of
gonna
us.
go fuck it. We'll say this now. We're going to Moon Shadows now, and it'll be like
Yeah, yeah.
Rudy and Gez get
well, you know, I
Rudy
got
and Gez throw someone off balcony. At Moon Shadows.
Ah, yeah, you'll see us in the paper. See us on the little news app on your phone. No, I hope it's it's Valentine's Day too. So I'm going to see Jade later. I got my buddy
Oh
Jeff
fuck,
Kennedy.
we're going on Valentine's
Yeah,
Day.
it's
I didn't even
Valentine-
realize
Yes.
you snuck in on me like that. See, that
Jeff
shows how
Kennedy's.
sad my life is, dude. I didn't
It's
even know
okay.
it was
No,
Valentine's
it's great,
Day.
brother. You got
No.
you got self-love. Most important. Jeff Carrizales, who's my my mechanic in Generation Kill. He's going to hang out tonight too. God, he's so wonderful. He's a comedian. He's an actor. He works. He does some. He trains really hard at the Actor Studio. Amazing man. Just going to get all the family together and enjoy ourselves. And we might be going to Venice now, brother. So it's a little closer.
Are we going to Venice?
Yeah,
Oh,
a little
sweet.
closer.
Well,
We don't have to go up so far. But yeah, I'll be linking up with Jonah Lotan, my man Yair, and Manchaka, and a couple others, maybe John Huertas.
Yeah, I better text Paul and tell him.
Okay, yeah, brother. Yeah, let me check my phone right quick.
All right, so something that Ryan was telling me, you told him at dinner the other night, I wanted to dive in on. He started telling me that you once got buried alive, and just hearing the story gave me a fucking panic attack as I was driving the car.
Yes.
So let's hear about it, man.
Well, I'm doing this freaking heavy-duty show for a big network, and I'm not even sure if I can say the name. It's so freaking rad. And I find out this week if it goes to season. Wow! And I know if it goes to season, we're going to have 5 more because the subject matter is so timely. And, of course, I'm the leader and the battlefield commander for this show that's a mixture of John Rambo and David Bowie and poltergeist. There's supernatural things, too, spiritual things. And to connect to the other side, this place, this haunting, place where there's a bloodshed, military bloodshed and haunting reported by people. I get dropped to target with a bag over my head, seer style, and I have to survive and figure out through navigation and lay of the land and the stars where I'm at, have an idea, and then go into ritual, Native American ritual and primitive and primal movement, also drawing upon all my time with Shaolin and studying Buddhism and practicing Buddhism and Tibetan Buddhism as well, and our experience in the Middle East where cultures first started, Sumer. I've been in Mongolia. My God, brother, I was in Mongolia fighting the Mongolians, wrestling them and training.
They're big on wrestling, right?
Oh, they are. They're massive, incredible. So forever I've been in pursuit of warrior manhood since I was a little boy, but in a way that was spiritually engaged. So my process after purifying myself for a few days with no food in the land, in this area where there's been sightings of ghosts, to connect to the other side and the ghosts, do ritual and purification, sage and prayers, and I dug a grave and I buried myself alive in the motherfucking desert. It was 25 degrees. Buried.
Wait, that's Fahrenheit, right?
Yes.
So that's cold.
Yes.
That's fucking cold.
Yes, 25 degrees. And I was using heavy-duty Tibetan Buddhism from the belly, chest, and then all out.
So what you breathing through, like a straw or something?
Through a snorkel. Got a snorkel, bro. And I'm only in my silkies from Sunga Life. Jeff Gum, my SEAL brother. Get some, Jeff. I love you, dog. And I'm under the ground for 4 hours, 5 hours. In a trance. I don't even feel my body anymore. And now I can see through the dirt. Because I'm spiritually out of my body. And this entity, this ghost, confronted me. Now, I've done lots of Dreamtime work, Oneironaut work, Carlos Castaneda, deep vision work through meditation and deprivation. Also, I've recently used DMT medicine and gone on other spiritual journeys. Soon I'll be going down to the jungle, South America, with Roger Sparks and Will Hinks and some other warriors from Force Blue, and doing ayahuasca for a week for more journeying to help release things. This is medicine and this is journeying. It's a sojourn. There's nothing about getting fucking high here.
Yeah,
man.
I'm a fan of DMT. Dude.
Yes, it's no fucking joke.
As someone that's done his fair share of drugs, it's sure it's a drug, but it's the same way. It's like comparing like fucking I don't know, I can't even think. Actually, it's not like comparing anything.
Not like anything.
There's nothing to compare it to.
I hear you.
But it's not like you smoke weed, you get giggly. It's not like you do coke and you tell people about your business plans. It's not like that at all. It's just like literally like fucking someone has opened up this part of your brain.
Universal portal.
You've never even knew was existed.
Yeah.
Well, you did.
You did know.
But you did know.
It's just in a way that's so light speed.
Yeah.
Whoa,
Yeah.
right? Well, I'm able to do some of that on my own with nothing from outside, but instead going inside. So this breathing put me in a state, in a pH state and then a mental state. Then my spirit started rising, and the cold. I believe the cold's part of it. I've been doing lots of ice baths. I work with a guy, Troy Casey, and doing Tai Chi meditation and then men's work. Also, I did man tribe work with Alexander Hill. This was unlike my other spirit journeys that I've been on because I felt a malevolent force.
Right.
And this ghost, I could see, was thinking about killing me. And I had no weapons and no tools. I was paralyzed. It's very interesting because I was in this domain in which I was completely a guest and I was completely a foreigner too. I took a lot out of this. After I freaking claw my way out of there, my boy Chase Millsap sticks a freaking thermometer in my mouth to check my temperature. It's 89 degrees. I'm freaking 10 degrees lower. I'm in hypothermia. My mind, yet I feel hot on fire. I start my fire. I get my survival movements going on. I have my bivouac set up. And then immediately I go into drawing and painting my vision. That's all I will say. This thing, you all will hear about it very soon. I will find out in the next week. And I'm very proud to be working with some wonderful people from Paramount and from Dr. Phil's people. And of course, We Are the Mighty. Chase Millsap, Marine Corps officer, Green Beret officer. We've got an amazing team, but it's a spiritual Knights of the Round Table. I create a spiritual battle plan when I go do these missions. And we're all getting truly deep and direct with our Creator to prepare for this, because the spirit world is nothing to mess around with.
Hey, okay, here's the thing, bro, right? We come from the most macho communities on the planet. And it's very hard for us to... We were talking about this with one of my last guests, Hugh Keir. And we were talking about, we're saying, like, you know, this podcast and stuff, we're putting these ideas across to people who are probably some of the more resistant people on the planet to these ideas. But, so, I say this to people. Nobody's doubting that PTSD and loss of purpose and all these other things are something that affects veterans. I'm like, if that is not a spiritual thing, then what is it?
Yes.
Because it's spiritual. So we have to, like, if the world was fucking black and white, then it wouldn't matter what job you did. It wouldn't matter what, you know, but it is more than that. And we can see that in our own community. And that's why I'm really kind of like, dude, if you'd have told me fucking 5 years ago that I would be going like, oh yeah, because yeah, we saw a ghost, yeah, I believe you. If you'd have told me that 5 years ago, I would have said, fuck off.
Yeah.
Full of shit.
No, but I know.
And I know people, some people listening to this now are like, but, and then again, the DMT experience.
Brother, right?
Like,
there's universes out there that we have only just begun to scratch the surface. And I think it's going to be critical for us to heal, to reach into those other spaces for reflection. That's my whole purpose for this mission, this program, is to clean the blood and to release souls home. In the same way I'm cleaning the blood off of me and bringing some of my soul back from Iraq and Afghanistan. And to show our brothers and sisters it's possible, and that you got a spirit warrior out there that's doing the good work for all of us, and I'm strong because of all of you supporting me.
Well, but think about this. In the Marines, right? You as not a Marine that doesn't know who John Basilone is, right?
That's right. Freaking World War II,
like,
brother.
My regiment, you know, we have the Rorke's Drift, you know, So when we're drawing on our ancestors, our regimental ancestors, that's what we do.
It's the same thing. Primal, primitive, ancient village and a warrior clan culture. Yeah. We are drawing upon the spirits and the power of those warriors before us and the ideals that they fought for. If that's not magical, if that's not spiritual, if that's not beyond the veil, then what is?
Yeah. And you tell me that you can't watch something like when you watch something like The Pacific, which is another great HBO show, or you watch A Bridge Too Far, or any of these movies.
Yes.
You're not just going, oh, cool explosions. There's something inside you. You shiver. There's shivers. You shiver, and because you know these men were real, and you know that their spirit lives on through the spirit of their regiments.
Yes, brother.
I can't agree with you that's more. Spiritual. The word fucking spirit.
This is Spartan. This is Comanche. Yeah, this is Shaolin Temple. That's all of this.
Our logo. We have that helmet as the fucking as reason, because everybody looks at that and
it's beautiful logo.
and you know that is a symbol of a warrior. Those warriors, we never met any of them. They're fucking 3,000 years ago. But we connect to them.
Yes, they're still in our veins. Yeah. Even their DNA. And look how we're searching for the same homecoming that they were. And we are drawing upon our community and our war experience to now find inner peace.
And you know what, dude? Here's one of the things I always tell people is you got to channel your inner samurai, right?
Yeah, well
so poetry,
Hagakure.
Right?
Hagakure.
You don't have to do necessarily poetry. But I think one of the things is, again, it's something that it's when you get in the military, or the military as it was. I know things are changing. It was very much it's this macho thing of you don't sing songs, you don't write fucking poetry, you don't do any of this. These are all outlets now that have been proven to be this so good for your mental health.
Yes, spiritual, mental health, emotional health. You know, we're so lucky in Recon because we're so small. Everybody, because we're a bit more intelligent, higher GT, higher trained, draws from a real special type of guy that is already thinking outside the box. We had guys playing guitar, painters. I was a painter, musicians.
You did this while you were...
Yeah, in the Marine Corps. And how about this? We took our art, we mostly did our art, and put it into our craft. How many of my guys had sewing machines? How many of my guys crafted gear? We were constantly creating and thinking. And and I was always drawing insignias and illustrations for the unit. The other guy, Johnny Knospler and Alex Neal, were creating new webbing. I mean, we were always creative.
Well, like,
and
so much of that stuff has come from that. All these innovations in gear have come from guys who have then made their own
creativity. And now that we're in the everyday battlefield of civilian life, it's even more important to stay creative. And you're exactly right. Creative with music and the arts, with nature and community, bro. It changes lives. It heals lives, and it creates a brighter purpose for all of us. I mean, look where we're at, brother. We're freaking living a dream. You come from tough background overseas. You get to come. You're in LA. You're worldwide. You're doing art. You've got podcasts, you write. I'm acting and teaching and speaking. I get to travel. I have people that are interested and want to know more about my background, and I am able to share something that maybe illuminates to an individual so that they can live a better life. This is beauty, brother. We're living for beauty.
As far as background, dude, I had a soft background and then a self-imposed tough one. You know, and that's what I was saying before about how people have these different, like, you know, so when we went to dinner with Ian the other day, so anybody listening from the UK, I'm from Wrexham, Ian was from Birkenhead, and it just blew my mind that we both ended up at the same dinner in Hollywood on the other side of the fucking world.
Yeah,
and I was just like, fuck, it's these things intertwine, and like the guys that I'm staying with down in San Clemente, you know, we mentioned Moon Shadows earlier, I just like that, you know, that's my extended kind of friend network now. A lot of them, and I met them because I happened to start talking to because I noticed his haircut, his Marine haircut. Sure. I started talking to him in a bar on the other side of the world, and now these are my brothers, not friends, brothers.
Those our brothers that you brought me to?
Yeah. Those guys, yeah. Because I met one of them in Moon Shadows.
Yeah. Oh, they're the best, bro. We had the best 4th of July, and that was my first 4th of July. I had Heath, I had Jade, I think Paul, Scott came out.
The big the Scottish lad, the para.
Yes. Yeah. And Kenny, wild ass Kenny. That's the first time I saw fireworks in a long time, and I enjoyed it because we were all together.
It was fucking sick.
It was amazing.
It was sick. I loved it, dude. I've watched
great Marines, great officers. I love those bros. A lot of recon dudes.
The last couple of years, we've watched the fireworks from there. I want to try and do that every year now. Be on that balcony,
I'm in. We'll be there.
We're fucking. It's. Because the thing is I remember I went to Nate's charity, which is not far from here, you know, MVP. I went there once before.
Boyer. I just did that movie with Boyer.
Oh, actually, let's talk about that, actually.
Well, I can't tell you the name yet, but it's spiritual. It's a ghost story. It's a whodunit. It's got elements of true detective.
Nice.
And it's a cop show, it's a relationship show, and I get to play the Native American protector over generations. So I had to cut my hair and shave to play the younger
back
Solomon.
Yeah,
it's gone back. Man, and my protein synthesis is off the chain. Hair and nails.
I swear, my hairdresser told me this is a myth, but I think she's lying because out here I need to get a haircut like every week to keep this fucking on top.
Yeah,
of
it looks great.
Nice, bro. Look pretty sharp at the moment. So. But yes, it's this kind of like this creative culture that's coming out of the
Nate Boyer's a great example of that.
Nate's a robot.
He goes hard, brother. I love it.
Doesn't sleep. He's always got some fun.
You know, I was at Trinidad Jeans with Trinidad Garcia, Marine Corps.
Oh yeah, talk about Trinidad Jeans.
Yes, I was just at the biggest symposium and trade show of denim, and we were the rock stars. Trinidad Jeans, started by Trinidad Garcia, Marine Corps. You know, it's so wild. He brought me out there, and he told in front of everyone. He says, my reason to join the Marine Corps is because I saw Rudy on Generation Kill, and he inspired me. And now Rudy is one of my models, and now we're doing fashion together. I'm working on designing things with him. Another brother, Randy Couture, was there, Army Dog. Nate Boyer, also partner and working. Nate Boyer's got his own signature jean with Trinidad. We had Jackie, Bro Jack out there too, Navy vet. It's just so amazing. Again, fashion, creativity, writing, film, music. We're moving forward in a way that brings beauty and light to lives. We are becoming the light in other people's lives. How freaking rad is that? When we look back and when we were in such a dark place, look where we're at now and celebrate that.
And that's the thing I want anyone listening to take away is you are in a dark place. We're not talking about getting back to just getting by.
Yeah.
It's like you can absolutely thrive off the back of it.
Can.
In fact, I think, to be honest, having a fucking shit period of your life is probably one of the best indications that you will have a great battle.
There's going to be a reset.
Because if you're comfortable in your life, in any way, shape or form, then you never really have the impetus to make big changes. And you'll probably just coast through your life. Whereas if you have something goes bad, you have a choice to either give into it or to fight back against it. And if you fight back, you're not then going to allow yourself to go back to the place of comfort. You're gonna strive. You will strive. You're going to need to know that. You're going to need to know that what you're doing is because you know if you've gone through a bad period in your life and you know how close you were to death.
Yes.
Then once you realize that how finite your life is and how short your life is, you're not going to be comfortable just like fucking punching in and doing the bare minimum in your life and having the bare minimum of your relationships.
No.
You're going to need more.
We spiral higher and we thrive through dreaming and ambition. It's funny. I'm not material at all. I'm gifted in gifted riches in so many ways. But it's not about the material, but my ambition is to save the damn planet. My ambition is to save myself through service, helping my other brothers and sisters. I've had people help me along the way, and I realize why I am successful is because of people like Rick Elder at Beyond Clothing, because of Bert and his whole family at Sornex, because of my right-hand man, Paul Wyman, because of my little brothers, Michael and Caesar, because of Cable Gibbs, my freaking stunt driver, actor, supermodel, volleyball player, and best buddy, because of my mentor, Ian Asbury, because of my woman, Jade Struck. Because of this, I have the strength to sometimes, instead of having a bad day, I just have a bad moment. And boom, I bounce back and go forward and catapult forward and catapult forward. It's rad, brother. I believe and I see and I witness this every day. And that's what gets me through. That's what keeps me fired up. And like I said, if I have a bad moment, it's not going to be a bad day. Yeah. It's just a bad moment.
And you know what, dude? It ties into what we were saying earlier about the Pogues and the fueling the jets and all that stuff.
Yes.
We didn't do what we did overseas on our own.
Alone. No, not at all.
And you can't do what you're doing in your civilian life on your own.
No.
And this is the fact as well. Like, as much as we're both proud to be veterans, we're civilians now.
We're
citizens. Yeah, we're in civilian life. This is civilian life, and you need a team around you. The same. You can't do everything on your
I found looking back when I was most unhappy and struggling the most is when I had nobody. Yeah. But I was still thinking I can handle it all on my own. But now we're wiser, and we understand that we're stronger and more effective with our team, and our team is only getting more pure, more refined, and we're all succeeding together, which feels fantastic.
It does. Mate, I want to finish on that because that's a beautiful point. Where can people find you on the internet?
You can look up Rudy Reyes. Yeah, the interwebs. Just look up Rudy Reyes. You can Google Rudy Reyes or Recon Marine. You can find me on rudyreyes.com. You can check out what I'm doing, saving veterans one coral reef at a time with Force Blue, forceblueteam.org. My Instagram is Real Rudy Reyes. I'm pretty easy to find. And check out my work. See what I'm doing. Get involved. I do fitness work as well. Always teaching and training, doing public speaking. Really, like we say in Recon, a jack of all trades, master of none. Because there's no such thing as a badass. There's only trained and untrained. Well, I have these aspects of my life. They're all united and aligned to my source and to my love of community and family. But they're different flavors of the same creative energy. So check me out. RudyReyes.com, Real Rudy Reyes at Instagram, or at Real Rudy Reyes on Instagram, and forceblueteam.org.
Mate, I love you.
Love you, bro.
Guys, thanks for tuning in. We will catch you next time. Love you. Bye.
Yeah. Listen. Shout out Teaser. You told me not to worry, and you wouldn't break my heart. You told me you were sorry, yeah, my whole world fell apart. You said it's not my fault, and yeah, I've never done you wrong. I'm grinding to a halt, now I can see you're moving on. I promised I'd get better, and I told you things would change. You keep me to the gutter, yeah, I'll never be the same. I've got to let you go, now live your life and spread your wings. And yeah, you put on quite a show, and pulled the puppet strings. And are you sure that you don't want me? Remember all the pain,
Or maybe you should thank me, it's your loss and my gain. I'm leaving now forever, I won't hang my head in shame. But yeah, you've taken me for granted, and you should feel ashamed. You sold a dream to all of us, a dream that we'd all die for. A reason for us all to live and something we could fight for. I might just help a man up to his feet or hold a newborn, but no matter what I do, my hands remembering my rifle, yeah.
Life's hard, I know that. Still wouldn't change shit. I wouldn't go back, yeah, I wouldn't go back. Feelings I hold back. Memories fade, yeah, they go fast, yeah, they go fast. Good times that come and go, survive the highs and lows. Just take it step by step, I guess, yeah, I suppose. Good times that come and go, survive the highs and lows. Just take it step by step, I guess, yeah, I suppose.
It's time to speak the truth now.